Hi everyone, I am Jyoti Balani, founder and managing director of FreshRiver.ai. We are a conversational AI and data science consultancy. We do strategy and delivery work for the Fortune 100. I am joined today, very exciting, with Alex Dunn, the Chief Product Officer of Voicify. Welcome, Alex.
Yeah, thank you.
So, have you been enjoying the show?
It's been great, yeah. We honestly didn't expect to have so many people around. Conferences sort of coming back to life. It's amazing. There's some real energy here.
Absolutely. I think it was a big experiment. We weren't sure either.
Yeah.
Right? So it's all positive in the fact that I think people need to come back. I think we've had enough of being two-dimensional in these screens. So let's do some ground setting. What problem does Voicify solve?
Yeah, so we really aim to solve the challenges of building voice experiences and voice assistants at the enterprise grade sort of level. And tying in all of the sort of required components to do that. Custom dynamic wake words, speech recognition, natural language processing, decision engines, personalizations, integrations, text-to-speech, and everything in between, and then making those available wherever people want to. So we really focus on making it as easy to build those high-quality use cases out as we can for our enterprise customers.
So relative to the functional roles, industry verticals, where's the adoption coming from? Where are you guys seeing most of the excitement?
Yeah, I think right now we've seen a big wave of people that are really trying to, pun intended, voicify their existing experiences and really focusing on where the value of voice comes in, which is at its core, from my opinion anyway, is faster access to information, faster access to taking action, and more ubiquity and ambience of data, which when you think about where that data exists and where users already are, it's typically web and mobile, or sometimes in physical locations. And so generally speaking, that's where we're seeing a lot more traction. It's people that are creating real value for their end users, their end consumers or customers, and creating those experiences wherever they already are.
Yeah, I think it's an unprecedented interface compared to web and mobile.
Yeah.
I think there's so much relative to user expectation that's very different. And then what's obviously underneath the hood, right? Nothing like where web and mobile came in from. So how do you think about the privacy and security framework around that?
Yeah, so for us, it's important for us to make sure our customers' data is secure, first and foremost. Data security and privacy is one of our core competencies on our product and engineering teams. From the ground up, everything is focused on ensuring there's transparency as to where data is going and how it's being used, not just for our customers, but so that they can also have that confidence to give that transparency to their users. In the end, with something that voice as a modality can feel a little bit invasive privacy-wise, to get to that future state of trust between the consumer and the brand, we have to be very secure and we have to be very transparent about how the data is being used.
Yeah, I think the industry, big tech, we've had Alexa and Google Home Assistant around for a while. I think people have sort of gotten used to it.
Yeah.
But they're still not using those for more sensitive,
for secure things,
right? What do the next 6 to 12 months, look like for you? It's been a long day.
6 to 10, very specific. 10 months. Oh my gosh! Does someone have my actual roadmap?
Let
me pull it up.
Alex?
A big focus of ours is automation. Automation for the end user, so being able to create assistants that are going to do things automatically for you, not just answer your questions, not just fill out a form, but to do it all in sort of one encapsulated request. And on top of that, to be able to create those hyper-aware, hyper-contextual interactions that are data-driven without having to build everything from scratch. We're trying to avoid the challenges we've seen for the last 20 years in conversation design and conversation management of you have to plan and build for every single thing.
Right.
You're dragging and dropping all sorts of different nodes to try to design your paths, and now you have to do that to all the edge cases. We're trying to make it really easy to just provide the content and the data and turn that into that actual representation of a voice experience. And the way that we sort of think of it is the sort of Venn diagram of how voice interactivity is managed. You either have really large transformer models, GPT-3, T5, stuff like that, or you have the manual conversation building. And we like to sort of get the best of both worlds, and so we're really focusing on getting to that point of using those models to be generative and predictive, but not ever get in the way of you being able to say, this is the sort of flow that I want someone to go through, this is the feature I want them to be able to interact with. So you get the speed, but you also get the absolute control.
Yeah, a lot of the clients we're seeing are shying away from, they're turning all the chit-chat and the small talk off because there's no way they can predict what it will say.
Right.
So that's where, the GPT-3 models, I think we're still not there in having some control, but they are designed by that, right? Is to say that these are larger models. What do your partnerships look like?
So we sort of have two different types of partnerships. Someone in our company is probably going to say three. The way I sort of look at it is technology partnerships, and we work with agencies. So on the technology side, it's people that also solve a problem for the businesses that they work with. So they're also B2B, software companies, but they'll be in a very specific industry. I want to be able to introduce voice as a modality for their customers to introduce to their users. So for example, those would be like content management systems or food ordering systems, where we can make it really easy to stand up the end brand's assistant, but without having to go into Voicify at all. We can actually automate the entire thing. And then on the agency side, we've got a really strong ecosystem of agencies, from the big guys to the very specific voice industry experts that we then bring into when our customers come to us and they need that expertise that us as a software company can provide, but we like to do the software and the product, not the consulting services. So those are opportunities where we bring in our partners who are the other industry experts to come in and help design the strategy, to be able to do the conversation design, and then on the technical side to build the integrations so that the voice assistant can interact with their existing back-end systems and not have to reinvent the wheel.
So competitively, what's the differentiator and sweet spot that you pull out? Because as you can see, right, there's a lot of players in the space. Yeah,
I think there's two things, where we stand out. The first is that we have all of the tools, right? Like, we do speech recognition, but we're not going to market competing with speech recognition providers. It's part of the tools that we have in order to be able to provide the end-to-end solution for voice assistants. And the other side is that sweet spot of that Venn diagram, is using the power of large machine learning models to be generative. Again, having a hard time with that word. And I know. But having that control, and then there's a lot of little nuances in between that I think make Voicify unique, and it's why our average time to build a real enterprise grade assistant is a couple weeks, not months and months and months. Because if you have all the data ready to go, and you know the features you want to have, and you know where you want to put the assistant, put it in mobile app, put it in web, put it in a VR experience or something else, then you're ready to roll. You're just going to start generating it, test it, and ship it, and then continue to iterate.
So the only way you can get to weeks before you can put up versus months, so you have libraries and pre-trained language models, right? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we have this concept we call modules, and essentially it's the ability to templatize and create automation tools on top of the platform. So our lowest level tools, because we want to be able to give you that absolute control, are all the way down to if a user says this, I want to say this. And so everything is built to automate on top of that. So we have these concepts of modules where we have them, our partners will build them too, and they can come packed with pre-built named entity recognition models for your specific domain, which then is also training the speech recognition model to focus on your industry. We have the actual conversations and integrations pre-built. So for example, if you wanted to have a voice experience or someone's on the website, let's say they're booking a test drive, and they want to finalize that booking, and you're going to send them a text message with something like Twilio or with Vonage, then we have pre-built modules for those. And you just say, when it gets to this point, take the phone number they said and send them this text. And those are all pre-packaged. So it's more instead of having to conceive the idea of what your assistant is and build it all from scratch, it turns it into basically playing with Lego bricks. You're just picking and choosing what features, what functions you want to have, and you're composing the assistant with those first. And then, of course, again, get into the nitty-gritty, right? Then you get into what you really need to do.
Final minute. What's your most favorite customer project?
Oh, man.
That you can share and your marketing team won't yell at you.
I love all my customers equally.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
I don't know that I can pick a favorite. One that I do like a lot, and we've talked about it a lot here, is the work we've done with Odyssey. So Odyssey, used to be the radio.com app. It's all part of Entercom. Now it's all Odyssey. So there's an Odyssey assistant in the mobile app to help you basically find, play, and manage your player controls, but then also introduce interactive advertising. So from going and saying put on a rock station. Okay, great, we're listening to a rock station. Actually, I want to listen to this podcast. Being able to do that from one shot with your voice without having to go navigate and search and find the right episode is great. But then when you have an advertisement where to the user it's interesting, they want to be able to take action right away, they can also do that with their voice. They can go book that test drive, for example. If they're like, you know what, I will do it, I want to. It's not like a, hey, remember this super long URL.
Correct.
Because it's audio
That's right.
advertising. We're able to encapsulate all of that, do the attribution as well, because we know what the user is saying to your ad, we know what they were just listening to. That context is created to create some really powerful analytics as well.
Wow. So let's call that the point of attention, right? That
Yeah.
really makes it seamless. Alex, thank you so much.
No, thank you.
Safe travels back.
You
And
too.
we will be keeping an eye on Voicify.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Take care.